Hey everybody, Dogbear here with the Web Warriors in Dark Dimension 3 now that we now have Ghost Spider available to us. So there's only going to be three of them, of course. It's going to be Spider, Miles, and OG Spider-Man as far as the Web Warriors are concerned. As you can see here, I got my Ghost Spider 4 red, 4 yellow. I bought both of her offers. I actually brought her up to Blue ISO level 3 Raider. Uh, in the one node you're going to see in node 3, she is actually only a blue level 1 ISO raider. The reason being, after that node, what I saw could happen with that node and her, I decided to invest heavily into her. So let's take a look what I have. Gear 14, of course, level 75. Her T4s, this should be your first one you do if you're low on T4s, is her passive. Getting 10% dodge chance and a 100% damage, which she'll do whenever somebody attacks a Web Warrior ally. Once you have the full team, this will be even more valuable. Pretty much a no-brainer. The second one to do is the ultimate. The 50% damage to all target is great, and especially in Dark Dimensions, great in raids. But in Dark Dimensions, you often have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 characters, so this means it's going to be 50% times however many you're going against, which can be 10 characters. That's a lot of damage. Plus it spreads all the negative effects all around the entire board. The only other one, this is more for raids, not so much for Dark Dimensions, because in Dark Dimensions they only give you 50% extra damage. Not too much on that. And in raids it makes it so if the target has slow and you have Miles as an ally, it applies blind, which you can then spread with the ultimate. I did not do this T4 on the special. You use it mainly to get this ability block, chaining to other targets and putting slows out. Really not needed. I didn't really need to put any more slows out. The extra damage would be nice, but this really is just more of a luxury thing. You just really want to put it into her. And the reason why you use Raider as your ISO is because of this ability. You want to get that ability block with a 60% crit here that it gives you, plus the 30% crit from blue level 1 ISO Raider, and then the normal 10% equals 100%, so you'll always get an ability block unless of course there's like a deflect or something. Moving on, my OG Spider-Man, 5 red, 7 yellow, gear 14, level 75. Blue level 2 ISO Skirmisher. I did that just to get some extra hit points on him. Only one T4 here into his passive, which is probably the most critical of all the Web Warriors, because he is the one giving them speed bar. Plus it also gives him 5% speed once somebody takes a turn. Even though it doesn't say that, they have acknowledged that. No real needs for any of the others. I run Skirmisher on him because I want to get him to focus. I want him to be able to stun, put his defense downs out there. And plus it's nice to have a Skirmisher because then he's applying vulnerables, and as they already have vulnerables, he's removing buffs as well, which is also good. Here's my Miles Morales. Blue level 2 ISO Skirmisher as well. I put Skirmisher on him because I wanted him to get the extra focus because he puts out those disrupts, he puts out slows. He does turn meter rewind. He puts out a great amount of damage, especially for his level. I didn't really see the point of putting Striker on him. Plus, if I leave him a Skirmisher, that's more vulnerables. And then if he hits somebody with vulnerables, not only is he clearing the 3 effects with just his basic gear, he could clear like a 4th effect. So that's the reason why I did it, why I chose it. And that's why I'm running that. And there's some other characters that I use. As you're going to see, these are the characters I'm actually going to use. The reason being, in Node 3, I took Miles in, and he died very quickly. I don't know why he dies so quickly, but he does. He seems more fragile than the other two. I think it's because Ghost Spider and Spider-Man give themselves evades, gives them a little bit more protection. So I'll start with the one character that does go into both nodes, into all the nodes with them, is Symbiote Spider-Man. My Symbiote Spider-Man, level 80, gear 15, level 3 blue ISO Skirmisher. I like Skirmisher on him, getting that extra focus and being able to remove debuffs again if the target's already vulnerable. I have a 5 red, 7 yellow. The reason why you bring in Symbiote Spider-Man at this time without Scarlet Spider, especially now, is because of Symbiote Spider-Man's passive here. When a negative effect is applied to an enemy, he heals self, he heals Hero Spider-Verse, which is all the Web Warriors, and of course Symbiote Allies, for 3% of his health. So that's the big reason why you bring him. And you can double dip eventually if you, once we have Scarlet Spider available to us. So I do have the T4s him, the basics that most people do. His basic to get the extra defense downs. The Web Slam, which is his stun. That's to get the extra slows out there, and of course, this T4 here to get the 20% max health. Also, another bonus to your Web Warriors does they get that too. On node 3, I did bring in Anti-Venom for extra healing. I'm not sure if he's really needed. My Anti-Venom is Gear 15, level 80, 6 red, 6 yellow, blue level 3 striker. One interesting thing about Anti-Venom is don't forget when he does his basic, he can apply like bleeds or some other buffs. Because he does do some extra healing. The character I ended up replacing Miles in Node 3 with was Venom, actually. The reason why I brought Venom in is don't forget on his basic, he can flip buffs or remove buffs, depending on what the buff is. Plus, he can spread negative effects. He does have an ability block. I know people say he's the worst symbiote, but when it comes to Dark Dimensions, he is not. Carnage would take that role because of not usually killing things quick enough to get Carnage's passive. Don't have any T4s on him. He is gear 15, level 80, 5 red, 7 yellow, blue level ISO 3 striker. And the last character, last but not least, who I bring into the city nodes is Shang-Chi, or Shang-Chi, wherever you pronounce it. Mine's 5 red, 6 yellow. He's gear 14, level 75, blue level 2 ISO Raider. T4s and everything but his basic. The reason being I brought him in, I wanted to see eventually, because we have to start thinking about planning for DD5, which is going to require 5 characters. So the 5 I'm thinking of right now, Ghost Spider, OG Spider-Man, Symbiote Spider-Man, Shang-Chi, and then either like Miles, Scarlet Spider, or Spider-Punk, depending on who works the best, probably Scarlet Spider. But the reason why I'm saying this, why I'm taking these 5 over bringing the entire Web Warriors team, at least on the first run to DD5, is because this way you're using Oz Formula, Alien Spores, and I believe it's Molecular Cough here on Shang-Chi. That just helps you with those mini uniques, keeps you down low. I do hope to eventually test them in DD4 once I can get them all leveled up to level 80. But for now, let's take a look at DD3 and what happened in the city nodes and see if they're any good. Alright, this is the first city node in DD3. As you can see, I have my OG Spider-Man in the middle, I have Miles on and Symbiote Spider-Man on the sides of him, and Ghost Spider and Shang-Chi on the very ends. Using Miles as disrupt, getting on Crossbones, don't want him taunting. That's why I did that. I used the ability block onto Invisible Woman. I don't want her shielding or removing debuffs. Symbiote Spider-Man here, I'm going to stun Doctor Strange, just so he can't go and take away anything. As you can see, this team is performing pretty well. Shang-Chi does a lot of work. He hits really hard, and he's only level 75, gear 14. I need to see what he's going to be like once I level him up more. He did a lot of work, killed a lot of mobs, getting us through this very first node very easily. We know already that we can take in just 3 symbiotes, Symbiote Spider-Man, Scream, and Anti-Venom, and clear all the city nodes. So this might be a little bit overkill bringing in 5 characters, but given that DD5 requires you to bring in 5, It's not a bad idea. Just get an idea of what they will look like. This team would look like in that Dark Dimension 5 or Dark Dimension 4 eventually. Once I get able to test that. Like I said, this would be a good first run team as long as they're decent looking. And I think if you're going to watch this, you can see this in this first node. This team works pretty well. We're almost already done with this first node. And that's it. That takes care of the first. Let's move on to the second node. See, we're getting hit right away with Human Torch. Defense down. I like to get rid of the Human Torch as quick as possible. He puts out a lot of damage. We had Miles there slow down Shuri since she was about to take a turn. I actually used Shang-Chi's special there because he does get that 50% turn meter after using that, so I wanted to get that going. Plus he hits really hard. He killed Human Torch anyway. Now the problem would be that Reed Richards, they assist each other, as you can see here. There's the assist. And of course they both go right at the same time, so you're getting hit 4 times. But here goes Shang-Chi doing the doing the work there, just taking them out. Really didn't have any problems in this node. It was just a matter of picking the right targets, getting used to the team, getting used to Ghost Spider and her abilities, even getting used to Spider-Man's abilities and Miles' abilities. Don't really use them before these reworks were done. They were making quick work of things. Shang-Chi is just really doing the work. So one of the problems I notice is that you don't really get too many debuffs with this team. You get like your slow, you get your defense down, you get the occasional stuns and disrupts and an ability block, but you're not really racking them up like with a bunch of bleeds or anything like that to really get Symbiote Spider-Man's heal going, because every time you apply a debuff, you get healing. And that's something you'll see at the end of this video in Node 3 when I bring in Anti-Venom and Venom, who can put out the bleeds. You're going to see a lot of debuffs out there, a lot of healing from that. You see we're already down to the last 6 in this node. Going pretty quickly. This was just a matter of figuring out who to hit. I do like the amount of damage that Gwen does. Plus, whenever you use her basic, she gets that evade, which gives her a little bit more survivability. Miles puts out a great deal of damage, and even Spider-Man puts out a pretty good, decent enough damage. Not nearly as much as like Gwen or Miles, but still decent enough. Last 2. Just a little cleanup there. And he's finally down. So on to the third node. So it gets a little bit harder with each node, of course. You know, here we have the problems of the tanks with the Rhino and the Juggernaut. You have Scarlet Witch healing. Using Miles' slow on Lieutenant there. Miles' main value is his kit is pretty good with that Terminator rewind and a slow that disrupts. Chose to use Scarlet Witch to get defense downs onto everybody, so we do increased damage. Tried to stun Wasp, because in DD3 Wasps are annoying and do a lot of damage. Unlike your Wasp, who will do no damage. Killing off Wanda there. Shang-Chi gets his speed bar. Trying to work on that Merc Lieutenant. We actually got Wolverine down pretty low, so we just went and killed him. No sense in leaving him on the board. Juggernaut taunts. Thankfully, he had that vulnerable on him, so Spider-Man just came in and took that taunt right off of him. Just had to get through him. There he goes. Next wave, couple Venoms, Vulture, a Miles, OG Spider-Man, and Rhino. Got the Disrupt on Rhino because he's going to taunt. Like to use the special on Spider-Man so he hits as many people as possible. Shang-Chi, of course, doing a whole lot of work. Getting that extend, plus it hits a bunch of people with Symbiote Spider-Man. We're just clearing this node out, no problems. I really didn't run into problems until the next node at the end. As long as this team works, though, this could be a great budget option for DD5. Yeah, see, our Miles got stunned by the OG Spider-Man who died. Got rid of the Venom. A Venom, I should say. Taking out their Miles. And the one problem would be, of course, there's no revives and there's no heal block removal at this time with this team. But they're so quick, it doesn't seem to matter. And they kill so quickly, it doesn't matter either. So here we are, the final 8 of this wave. Stunning Wanda there. No buffs or debuffs to really pass around with that ultimate, so we want to save that. Slowing down Ant-Man because he does that AoE slow. Using that Shang-Chi special to get the extra speed bar back. Stunning Rhino, don't want him taunting. Trying to decide what I wanted to do there because I had all our cooldowns up, but it does make a difference if you have somebody who can apply bleeds, because if you bring Gwen in then and spread all those bleeds, that's going to do a lot of damage. Shang-Chi, again, killing a bunch of people. Or at least doing a lot of damage. You got the heal blocks, ability blocks out there. Nice thing is, though, that Gwen does put an evade on her. She uses her basic, so it doesn't matter as much. Last 3. Just chugging through it. Miles went to stealth, so we had no choice but to hit Mysterio. Which means we then have to deal with his little summons. Boom. Had a blind on me thanks to Mysterio. There he goes. And there goes Miles. Alright, now on to the final node. This one actually takes the longest. It has 35 here. This is the only one I actually had any kind of issues with. The else's are annoying, but that wasn't actually the issue. That you'll see at the end of this, it was actually Loki. I actually ended up losing Spider-Gwen, or Ghost Spider, because of Loki and his mind control. The nice thing about Shang-Chi, he does a lot of damage. You don't want him hitting your characters to hell with under mind control, because he'll kill them. So unfortunately, that's what ended up happening. I was able to hand the Elsas no problem. They didn't pose as much as a threat as I thought. They are annoying, but not much else. So I'm going to leave off the video here. Now you know what's going to happen. We do clear the node even without Spider-Gwen. She doesn't die until there's only a few mobs left. But I'm also going to attach node 3, which just that node alone is very long. It takes about 20 minutes just for that node. But you'll see that the difference in the buffs and how it worked with using Venom in place of Miles, how it actually worked out. And I was able to one-shot Node 3, a very difficult node as well. So until next time, everybody.